Governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, says Northerners were misled into believing that the tax reform bills would result in additional financial burden. Sule's comments come on the heels of Nigeria's Governors Forum, NGF, throwing its weight behind the proposed tax legislation before the National Assembly on Thursday. While backing the document, the NGF proposed an equitable sharing formula for value-added tax. They also recommended that there should be no terminal clause for TET Fund, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, and National Information Technology Development Agency in the sharing of development levies in the bills. The governors also backed the continuation of the legislative process at the National Assembly that will culminate in the eventual passage of the bill. Dr. Boniface Chizea, an expert of economic matters, joins me now to share his perspective on the bill and while it was finally backed by governors. Thank you for giving us your time. What are your thoughts on Governor Sule's statement that Northerners were misled about the tax reform bills?
I think that what I will say is that Daniel has come to judgment. So essentially, I think that's what Dr. Sule just had him say is a welcome development because Nigeria is in need of this reform. You know, if you look at the tax system in Nigeria, it's not what exactly it should be. It's not serving the purpose which it should serve. When you look at the tax itself, it should enable us to fund our recurrent expenses. And we've not been doing that. So, and then if you're not doing that with your taxation, it means you're borrowing money, to fund your recurrent expenses, and that's not the way to go. If you should borrow money, that money should be borrowed, for capital expenditure. So I think that's and if you look at businesses in our environment, they've complained for a long time of multiple taxations. And when you look at the tax regime in Nigeria, it's about the highest, in the sub-region at 30%. And so, the long and short of this is that the tax system in Nigeria, the template you have for taxation in Nigeria is overdue for review. And so I think that this is a welcome development. I think that if there are issues, there are going to be hearings during Senate consideration, and that those who have objections or who need some clarifications should take advantage of that opportunity, to get more understanding of what this administration is trying to do.
Talk to us a bit, though, about the concerns that was raised on how the reform bill will impact the northern region specifically.
Well, I think that taxation, I think that's which was had, was the fact in VAT and the way VAT was being shared before. What we're trying to do now, VAT is a concession tax, which says if you consume, then you pay. And so you have sections of the country that, for instance, don't allow smoking, they don't allow alcohol, so on and so forth. And taxations are collected where these things are allowed, and you take them to where they're not allowed. So I think there's some inequity in that. And so all those things need to be corrected. So and there are issues, so where the capital is, where the money is raised, and so on and so forth. Now, we need to be addressed. You see, what's happening in Nigeria is that when you have people from particular areas of the country, they've dominated governance, and they've skewed things, not objectively in their favor. And so now you're trying to make corrections, and people have entitlement mentality. And so they are beginning to resist and beginning to overheat the system. I think that we should all be grateful that, like I said earlier on, I said Daniel has come to judgment that this is happening, and that the Northerners are not beginning to embrace this. If governors, have come to their enlightenment, this is something that the country desires. I would expect that the MS also would fall in line.
All right, Doctor. Thank you for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.